That rainstorm was unlike any other, and the events of that night still haunt me. October 31st began as a drizzly day, and by evening it had turned into a full-blown storm. Streets turned slick with rain, and a dense fog rolled in, giving the city an eerie glow. My neighbor, Mrs. Wilson, called to ask if her cat had taken shelter at my place. We exchanged small talk about the unusually intense storm predicted for the night. Instead of going to the usual Halloween parties, I decided to stay in, light a fire, and enjoy a quiet night with a book. Around 8 p.m., just as darkness fully set in, there was a knock on my door. Strange, considering the weather. "Mrs. Wilson, did you lose your cat again?" I joked as I opened it. Instead of my elderly neighbor, I found a young girl, about 10, soaking wet, water dripping from her old-fashioned white dress and black shoes. Her pale blue eyes stared at me, filled with sadness. "Can you help me find my way home?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the pouring rain. Concerned, I let her in and handed her a towel. "You're soaked to the bone. Where are your parents?" She looked down, her eyes clouded. I want to go home." I offered her some hot cocoa, thinking it might comfort her. As she sipped the drink, I tried again. "What's your name? Maybe I can call your family?" She sighed. "They won't hear you." Her cryptic response gave me chills. "All right, let's get you home then." She led the way, the rain pouring harder than ever. We passed Mr. Thompson's bakery, now closed. "Hey, isn't that Lily?" he called from his doorstep, looking surprised. "Haven't seen her in ages." His statement made no sense, but left no time for pondering. She hurried me along deeper into the older parts of Seattle, parts one barely recognized. As we reached an old cemetery, she pointed to a gravestone. The etching read, "Lillian, 1903 to 1913. My heart raced as realization hit. She looked up, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you for bringing me home." A lightning flash lit up the sky. In that split second of blinding light, she vanished. Back home, I was restless. The rain's patter seemed like 1,000 whispers, recounting tales of ages past. Digging through archives, I found an article about Lillian, a girl who drowned searching for home on a stormy Halloween night. The next day, I visited Mr. Thompson. "I saw you with Lily last night," he began, handing me an old photograph of a girl identical to my mysterious visitor. She was my grandma's best friend. Every few years, she appears, hoping to find her way back. Every Halloween now, when rain blankets the city, memories of that night flood back. Sometimes, in the quiet moments, I swear I hear her voice in the rain, a soft whisper, saying, "Thank you."